Welcome to the community hotline for the community, by the community. I'm your host, Mr. Bob Thang, and today we have Priya. Tell
Thank
us,
you.
tell us,
Thank
Priya,
you
what,
for
what
wait.
does Priya mean?
Sorry?
What does Priya mean?
Priya means lovable.
Lovable.
Yeah.
Did you make that up?
No, I did not make that up. It's a dictionary meaning. Like so in the Hindu mythology, you every word or name is either associated with the god or it has a meaning to it. Uh so majority of the people keep their names with as getting them associated with some other name or some words meaning. So my name means lovable. So I give love, I take a lot of love. It's all love around me.
Got it. I love that. I love that. So tell us, what are top three facts about you?
Oh wow, that's interesting. So top three facts. First of all, even though I'm myself a little disorganized, I love organizing people. Okay, so that's one of it. Second, I love helping students to achieve academic excellence. So be it getting into their dream college, being it having a nice career path, getting some information to where should I go, what are the different career options that they can choose for. So essentially helping students in their academic growth is something that really drives me. And the third fact about me is I really value transparency and honesty in a relationship. And if these things are not there, it's like no for me from day one or irrespective.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay, let's move on to the first topic of the day, which is money. Tell us, what is money?
For me, honestly, the definition of money changed from while I experienced COVID. So I used to think that, it was ingrained in me, or maybe like my surrounding put it in me that, money is everything. You can buy all kinds of happiness through money. But actually, COVID made me realize that it's not just money that can give you everything. There were people who were affluent enough but still could not survive through COVID, and they did not get the exact medical attention, or, money could not buy one basic thing that they wanted at that time. So money is important. Yes, I definitely think, but I think it's not the only commodity that can give you the entire world of happiness. It needs to be balanced with relationships and other things equally. So it's not just one thing that that will give you all the happiness in the world.
Got it. Got it. Got it. In high school, did you ever have a job, or did you get an allowance? And then, if you did, or whatever money you received, what did you spend most of your money on? Two-part question.
Okay, so no, I did not have a job in high school. And essentially because I think that's not a I was born and brought up in India, and essentially in India, or I feel maybe in a majority of the Asian countries, this is not a concept which is very natural, or upcoming in like whatever. It's a very free flowing thing in probably North American area or anything like that, of that part of the world, or maybe even Europe for that matter. But in Asian countries, and specifically in India, it's not a thing. So I lived with my parents. My parents funded my expenses at that time. And well, I though I did not get a typical pocket money, but yes, I did have a budget around my expenses, which was on a monthly basis. So I always believed in saving a little, so I always divided whatever. So every the first day of every month, I used to get a amount, an X amount. So for instance, if it's $100, I used to get that much. So I used to always make sure that I have packed $20 aside. And then for the rest of the month, I will just manage myself in $80. And if I'm able to save from that 80 as well, wow, that's a bonus for me. Maybe I can spend it on something lavish the next month, or collect it for something new. But apart from that, I always had this portion that I used to keep aside, in case of emergency, in case, it can be like, it was even not even, and when I say emergency, it was not like, related to health or anything like that, but just in any case, maybe I want to buy a gift for my parents, and I wanted, you know even though it was not my money, but since I had got it to spend and I saved from it, it gave me the feeling that, probably I earned it. And that joy of gifting from that money to your parents was something, impeccable. So saving in that way, or maybe treating yourself a few months down the line, that, okay, I have $20 every month saved up. Let me go to a nice fancy restaurant and treat myself, or let me buy this thing that I thought was out of my budget, but since I saved cutting on other stuff, then why not spend it on myself, on that luxury that I want.
Got
So,
it. Got it. What did you spend most of your money on? Was it on yourself or was it on your parents?
from that, it was mainly on myself. But as I said, I made sure that I had this little part saved, which I utilized on everybody's birthdays in my family. So I used to make sure, either if I'm making something handmade or anything, so I used to buy from that saved money, or getting a flower or getting a cake, anything. I used to make sure that I don't ask them for a fresh amount of funds for it, but I do it from my saved money.
I love that. I love that. For buying gifts for everyone in the family, did you have a notepad where you wrote all this down, everyone's birthdays, or was it you just memorized everything?
No, so when it comes to birthdays, though I'm very bad at it, to be very honest, I'm bad at remembering birthdays. And I think my friends have this constant complaint from me that you don't remember anybody's birthdays, but you would be surprised that I actually remember everybody's birthday in my family. So I do remember their birthdays. I don't need to note it down or anything like that. And I'm usually one of those people who is very excited to celebrate anybody's birthday. So it's like, you, even though I'm like quite mature now and grown up, but still, when it comes to a party planning or something like that, you will always see that kiddishness, or maybe that kid nature reflecting within me. So I get super excited when it's somebody's birthday or any kind of an event or planning.
Okay, I like that. All right, second topic of the day, which is education. Tell us, was there a big change in your personality between, I guess, high school and primary school?
um Well, I think, yes, there was a drastic change there, because even though I did not, like, a lot of children change schools from high, secondary school, or they shift schools generally, but I did not. But even after that, it was a vast exposure. Mainly, I would give credit to two things. I had my elder sibling in the same school, so she could, guide me through a lot of things, and I had a foot front compared to other students. And second, it was because I had aimed to become one of the council members within my school. So I had, started planning, talking to my teachers with regard to the same thing. How do I get into the council? What are the things that I need to do, maybe academically, maybe in extracurriculars? And that interaction actually matured my thinking. Okay, it gave me a little holistic view apart from the books or the daily studying that I was doing. Okay. I was also a part of one of the sports teams, the volleyball team in my school. So that, being a part of a sports team, going to different schools to play, interacting with those students, seeing how they are managing their studies. So all of these small parts gave me a lot of exposure, and this added to that shift, and me maturing from senior school to higher secondary, or and whatever.
Okay. Is there, so you sound like a very studious student. Was
I was
there?
I wasn't. I would actually correct that. I was never very focused on, okay, I want X marks. Okay. I always had this in mind that I wanted to perform above average. Okay. But I had never this thing in mind that I want to be an a topper, or maybe, get first, second, third rank. That was never in my mind. I always wanted a decent percentage above average, because I always wanted to be an all-rounder person. I always liked being part of everything within the school, not just being academically focused.
Got it. Got it. So, did you go to public school or private school in high school?
Um, so it's a private school. In India, you have either the government schools, which are the public schools, or you have the private schools. In the private also, there are a few which are like they're divided due to the kind of expenses your parents can do. So mine was like a mediocre one. It was run by nuns. Mine was a convent school. So it was run by nuns, and we had like it was a Christian school, but then we did equally preach each and every religion. There was no biasness or no cultural distinction there. So that was great about it.
Was it an all boys school, all girls school, or was it a mix?
Yes, it was an all girls school.
So, was there, I guess, was there bullying going on, in your school? Like, yeah, there was,
I,
or
I think that happens everywhere.
we're not talking about everywhere. We're talking about your school specifically.
Yeah, so there was bullying a few times. Like, I do remember a few instances, but
Personal stories, two
sorry.
personal, sto- two personal stories, two personal bullying experiences.
I think I never faced one as such, if I say, but I had just heard that a few seniors were ragging somebody in the junior class. So it has all been grapevine. I haven't been a part of one, either on the receiving end or the giving end. Yes, maybe I was a part of a few jokes that I used to play around with my friends, for that matter, but then they were harmless. At least I think so. They were harmless, and nobody really came up to me and said that it hurt them in any manner, emotionally or physically. So I don't think I don't have any particular instances to give you right now. Yes, if you ask me that, okay, what were the two, three crazy things that you did in school, I can probably contribute there. But I don't think I have any bullying experiences here.
Okay, what were the two crazy things that you did in school?
Okay. So I think one I remember, we're not allowed. So in India, Diwali, the festival of lights, which comes around in October, November. Okay, so you're not supposed to have any. You, as per the Indian tradition, you burst firecrackers, and that is not something that you're supposed to do in a school premises. So even though I was part of the council member, I was a council member. We got in firecrackers within the campus. We burst them, and then when we were pulled up, being the council members, that who burst it, we were all mum and shut about it.
See,
so,
I
so that was one nice incident that I remember.
Okay. And
Yeah.
just I'm out of curiosity. You know, I know that you said bullying is a worldwide thing, but like specifically in India, is it a big thing? Is it considered like a, I guess like a thing most schools like talk about? Like how bad is it, I guess? Like in America
Um,
you have like school shootings, like it gets pretty bad over here. So I'm just wondering in India, like are there stabbings? Are there fights? Do people fight in India in schools? Does that happen?
yeah, there are a lot of fights that go on. It does not go to the level of shooting somebody or stabbing somebody. Okay, that is rare to hear, because either maybe it's like not much, like you don't have that much free access to guns for that matter as you have in America. Okay, So it does not go to that level, but yes, even like the fights go to the level that it becomes like a near death case for a lot of students. And a lot of times you will hear suicide cases as well because of the bullying, so it results in suicide as well. But it is pretty common. Okay, I will not say that it's not. It's just that I feel the awareness towards it is relatively less, though it has improved over the years from the time when I graduated from my school, and now that I see students and the types of sessions they have in place now in schools to apprise students that this is a form of bullying, so that they know that they're being bullied. So those different steps are being taken to make students aware, but it's still there, a lot there, and at the ground level, at the government schools as well, where people have less access to how the world is shaping, or how the world is evolving. So it's still there, but so if it was like maybe 60% 10 years back, maybe it's come down to 45 today, but it's still there, and a good amount, like a 45% is still there, which again needs to be reduced. So there needs to be active steps that need to be taken day in and out. And then awareness, and then once we grow up, like my generation grows up and becomes parents, we are well versed with the concept, so we will teach it to our children, and then eventually it should get better.
Got it. Got it. So I know that you went to university in Canada. What are top three tips that you have for Indian girls who are, traveling abroad for uni? Top three tips.
um First of all, I would say that whenever you're traveling alone for either study purposes or anything else, yes, when it comes to personal safety, I'm not saying that don't carry stuff like pepper spray or something like that. But before that, I would say that be well versed with what you're up to. By that, I mean that if you're traveling to a next place, so make sure you've probably seen the way. Maybe on Google Maps, you have a lot of technology today that you can leverage. So see the route, see how you can travel there, have alternative options. So in case you're traveling by car, have an alternative option. If that does not work, maybe you could travel by a bus or a train, probably. Try to make sure that you have shared with your loved ones or people who care about you a few details about that trip or something like that. So that essentially it's just that in case something goes wrong, and if people are not able to check upon you, they know what were your last whereabouts. Okay, so it and I think I would say that not just for girls, I would say that for guys as well. Okay, it should be for both genders. There's no I think there's no differentiation there. But I think you should be well versed with where you're going, what you need to do, what are the things that you need. A lot of times we're very handy with carrying credit cards these days. Okay, and a lot of times you see that that does not work. So going to a small mom and pop shop where probably you want to buy a bottle of water. Okay, maybe they don't have a credit card machine, so carry some cash as well. So you should be well versed and well prepared when it comes to going to a foreign place. uh, and I think with that also, if you feel that country has a language barrier, please, please, please carry a translator these days. It's much better. uh, though I feel English has become a universal language, where everybody understands, if not completely, but in broken words or sentences. But still, carrying a translator helps you a lot, or even your phone, where you can just show images of where do you want to go or what do you have. And with that, I think my first thing would be, which I really liked and I used to do, was if I could get local maps. Okay, so for instance, when I went to first Montreal, the first thing was, since I used to travel a lot by the metro there, the local metro, my first thing was that I took a metro map. So if I had to explain it to anybody where I am, like metro stations were my location marks. And I knew, okay, how far I am or where do I need to go, and I could talk like talk in their local language that way. So I think that was like the first tip that I would give somebody. The second tip, I would say that it's like it. I think it's. I don't know if it's a Indian tendency or if it's a tendency that everybody has. You often tend to translate, the amount. So, for instance, if it's like $20 Canadian dollars that you're buying something for, you translate it to the home currency and then you say, oh my god, it's so expensive, or oh my god, it's so affordable. Okay, so I think stop translating because that can never be your basis to buy something or not buy something, because different countries have different spending capacities, they have different things. So that comparison gets you irritated, and you probably could have enjoyed much more had you not compared and spent. But that said, obviously everybody has a budget in mind, and do stick to your budget, but then stop having a comparison and just spend normally, and like just don't keep converting and taxing your brain for that.
Got it. Got it. And last one.
The third tip, for somebody traveling as a student, I would suggest that go with a very open mind. Okay, it's a new culture, it's a new country. You will feel a little pushback. Okay, because and that said, it would be in any country. You will feel at a lot of times that you're unwelcomed, even though you're not. Okay, all the countries are very open these days. So but it just comes with the culture, because you're new to it, you're trying to understand. Okay, so don't be very focused on giving comments back that, oh, this is not how it happens in my country. Just embrace the new culture. Okay, be very open to it. Even if you're facing some sort of discrimination which you feel is there, it's okay. They will also take time, the other countrymen will also take time to get well acquainted to you, your culture, your thinking style. Okay, so it's very important for students to interact with local people, try local cuisines, meet with local nationalities, or make friends, know more about their culture, know what is considered good or bad within their culture. So there are different countries have different styles of saying hi, hello, or greeting, or for that matter saying like, one of the difference that I felt, if I can put context to this, was that in India, even in my corporate environment, we had less of a system of saying sorry and thank you. Okay, it was something maybe unsaid, or it just showed with the gestures or the way we spoke. But this is one difference that I realized while I was studying at my college, that these two words were very important. So if somebody did help you, it is not that it's unsaid that you're thankful to them, but it is important to say as well. Okay, so that was one difference that I faced. I learned over a time, and now it has ingrained in my day to day conversations. So I think that's it's a lot of things happen for the good, and you will learn a lot of new things. Just go with an open mind and try to experience everything. Okay, even the extreme cold that Canada offers you, it's beautiful. Trust me. Uh,
Got
so
it. I love
yeah.
that. Okay. Well, let's move on to the last topic of the day, which is love. Tell us, what is love?
Interesting and a very tough question indeed.
Is that your
I
answer?
think I think love for me today is understanding. Okay, understanding, and I would even like to add adjustment to that. Okay, while a lot of people will debate with me and say that why adjustment, uh, okay, because why should you adjust, or everybody has their own notion towards that word. But I would say that adjustment is very important. So in any relationship that you've been till date, be it with your mother, with your father, with your friends, with your siblings, anybody. Okay, you have always adjusted a bit. And if you haven't or you don't realize, the other person has adjusted with you. Okay, in some relations it comes unsaid, but when it comes to probably your better half or your girlfriend or boyfriend or anybody, you just think of it as a very big term and you're like, why should I adjust? So I think love for me is understanding and adjustment. And when you have them both, if not equally from both sides, but at a level where nobody feels that they're doing some favor on the other person by while adjusting or while understanding, I think it's a perfect, beautiful relationship that they have.
Got it. Got it. What about what's your relationship with your sister like? I know a lot of siblings, they get into arguments. Um yeah, what's tell us.
So me and my sister, we have a 5 year age gap. Okay. To be very honest, growing up, that age gap was like 10 or 15 years. Okay, because I was maybe a teenager, with a different mindset. She was one of the eldest siblings, so she had that pressure from parents to be the best one, to be the good one, to be the idol one, either for the younger sibling or whatever. So there was always a difference of opinion. There were a lot of clashes. We did not bond like friends. We just bonded like siblings. Okay. Um, but I think, sorry.
What does that mean?
So a lot of times you will see, so one is with your sibling, like, you can share anything. You can go talk your sorrows out, you can talk about your personal life, you can talk about your love life and everything. My bond with my sister was that I could go to her with my problems, or with my happiness, only to the level where I felt comfortable that I would not be judged. Okay. So for instance, if my culture does not permit to have a friend who is a guy, for instance. Okay, I could not go and talk to about it to my sibling, to my sister. Okay, because for me, she was at the same level as my parents. I thought she would judge me at the same intensity that my parents would, or she would give me the same reaction that my parents would. So there was no friendliness, like there was no friendship there between me and my sibling. Okay, it was just a sibling bond, that yes, whenever I needed her, I knew she would be there behind my back. Okay, or vice versa. Okay, but I think over the years, when we both have matured, and even she understands that some things are like different phases of life, you always have to go through them. Okay, so I think after, like, now after adulting, I think we have that age gap of 5 that became 15 has probably gone down to 2 or 3 years now, or maybe eventually, I think in the next few years it will go down to 0, and we'll be just like, two friends chit chatting away. So but it's a beautiful thing. Like, I think everybody who has a sister would agree with me that it's a beautiful bond to have.
What advice would you give, two pieces of advice you would give to young girls who have older sisters and all they do is fight, and they're in high school? What would you say to that?
I think my first advice to them would be that it's very important, now that I think of it. Your sister was right. Okay, at whatever stage she was, okay, whatever she was saying, she was right. Okay, it is just a situation at that time. You both are into different situations, which frames your mind frame differently, but you both are looking at a good for each other in the end. Okay, so I think it's while I would want younger sisters to open up to their elder ones, I would also tell elder siblings to actually give them that path to open up to them. Okay, if you stop for once, stop acting like a mom and start acting more like a sibling or a friend. Okay, so that your younger ones can open up to you. I think it would be better. And with that said, when I say, you need to open up, that does not mean that, you don't stop your younger sibling from doing wrong. Okay, you can eventually, you can be their friend. Even so today, at that time, I had my friends who were doing wrong, and I used to advise them that no, you should not do it, that's wrong, and they used to listen, and it used to be vice versa. So why can't that bond be between two siblings as well, if it can be at two peers at the same age? It's just about, how you look at that bond and how you develop or nourish it.
Got it. Got it. Who do you have a better relationship with, your mom or your dad?
My mother.
Okay. What
Yeah.
what what what's the are you not able to communicate with your dad, or what's the friction there?
No, I feel there's no friction there. To be very honest, it's just the kind of, my house, how my household was shaped. So my father is a businessman, and generally you have that X amount of hours that your parents, your like my father is out at work. So whenever he comes back, it's during the dinner table or early in the morning at the breakfast table. Okay, and at both the times it's like the entire family is present there, so your one-on-one bonding is comparatively less, whereas my mom is a housemaker. Okay, so my bonding with her is more because of the simple reason that I could get X amount of more hours to spend with her. So be it at school, when I was back home by like maybe 2 p.m., 3 p.m., so I had those extra 5 6 hours that I could spend with her, and nourish that bond, which I think probably got lost somewhere over the years with my father. But that said, I would say, like, I think I can equally go to both with my problems. There's no kind of friction that, I can probably, yes, there are some things that I can probably share with my mother in a better manner, because I know how that bond is. But for me, I think both my parents are equally placed when it comes to sharing my happiness or my sorrows.
Got it. Who was your first love?
My first love. My first love was actually Roger Federer.
Okay. Okay.
So I think I grew up watching him play, and it is still my dream to. I did see one of his match when there was this season called IPTL in India. So I did see him live, but I think the best would be when I see him in center court, either playing against Nadal, um, and and then once he's done with the game, probably he just takes off his shirt and gives it to me autographed. That would be like the best day.
Got it. So you like the older guys.
No, I just like Roger.
Have you ever encountered like creepy guys, and how did you deal with them?
Yeah, quite a many. But
Personal story. Tell me the creepiest guy that's ever your creepiest experience with a guy, and how you handled it.
I think I don't remember if I can classify him as the creepiest, but I think this is one of the newest things that happened. So it was during while I was in Canada, during my MBA. So I had there were different there are different nights in different pubs that get organized. Okay, so we had gone for a Bollywood night with my college friends, and I was just standing at the bar, and then this guy came and he started whispering in my ear. Okay, and my friends were a little away and they were dancing. Okay, so he just started whispering, and then he's like, "Oh, you're this, you're that, and how are you here?" And he just tried to strike conversation. So I just looked at him, like he kept on saying, okay, and I just kept on nodding because I didn't want not want to even look at him. So I think in the end, he just saw me looking at my group dancing. So and he's like, "Oh, so that's your group?" I was like, "Yeah, that's my group." And that guy, and I just picked up one of my guy friends, and I was like, "Yeah, and that's my boyfriend." So and before that he had already passed on a drink for me, and he's like, "Oh, I'll pay your bill and everything." So
Got
and then when I said that, he just looked at me, and he had this puzzled face like, "What? Why did you make me pay everything then?"
Got it.
Okay, and then eventually he walked off. So I was like, okay.
Not a free drink. Got it. What?
Yeah,
Tell me, last question of the before we wrap it up. What is a defining moment in your life and how did it impact you?
I think I'll take time to think about it.
You have 30 seconds.
mm, I think I would give this tagline to the moment when I actually decided to pursue my MBA from a university abroad. Okay, um, it it changed me completely top to bottom. Okay, and that was year 2019. So it changed me personally. It changed me emotionally. It changed me professionally. uh, it changed me academically. Okay, so it impacted each and every phase of my life. The way I interact with people today has changed. The way I absorb information, the way I probably take feedback, okay, or give feedback for that matter. My tone of conversation, how do I look at personal growth, how do I look at professional growth. Okay, it impacted everything. So I was in my bubble till 2019. Okay, coming from a business family, coming from a family which is very more focused on just family knit things, rather than having even a friend circle which was wide enough. So my interaction was very limited to like minded people. But this shift of going from India to Canada, I interacted with people from a different community, from a different culture, from a different country, uh, people who have struggled at different phases in their life. I met with a lot of people who were in my MBA, but probably 10 years elder to me, who've seen that struggle, who were guiding me with that. So I learned that, everybody's life graph is not the same. Okay. Everybody will have a peak time, but your peak time can be maybe at your 40s or it can be at your 20s. Okay, but it's you who actually uh, plans how you will live through that peak time. Okay,
Okay.
so uh, like for instance, if I give an example, I was very bubbled up that okay, I had a consulting experience. So post my MBA, I would probably get a job in a consulting firm only, right? Or maybe I wanted to go towards general management, or I had an interest in marketing, so maybe I could go for a marketing management or something like that of a role. But going in my MBA, interacting with people from different work spheres. I interacted with a lawyer, a nurse, somebody who gives classes on mental health. Okay, so interacting with different peoples, it opened my horizon that it's not just those typical things that you think about or hear about today. Okay, there are different things that people excel in. Okay, there are a lot of people who have a main job and doing so many side hustles. Okay, so I never knew something like that existed. That's exactly when I started doing my side hustle of helping students in their academic achievements, or getting admits to the right school. That's when I realized that it's so important to interact with new people, because you get to know a lot from them. So, for instance, I got in touch with you. I think our relationship has been beautiful. It has been a very two-way. I learned a lot of things from you. Hopefully, you learned a lot of things from me. So interacting with different people, knowing about their culture, knowing with what background they come from, how did they struggle to come to a point where they are today. There are different goals, or there are different ways where you can pivot your life. So post my MBA, I had thought maybe I would go into project management or something like that. But today I am at a metaverse company where I am at CEO's office position, where I'm thinking like an entrepreneur, living a life like an entrepreneur, something that I always wanted, but I did not know where to you know put a path to it. So I think my that was one moment that today I am so aspirational in life, okay, that I'm very open to new challenges. I'm very open to learning, okay, which I wasn't probably 3 years down the line.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Thank you for sharing today. Where can people find you if they want?
So you can sure. So either they can reach out to me over LinkedIn, and I think you would share the account details, or I have a Instagram page called Passport to Campus. So I'm always available there as well. So people can reach out to me, and if they have any queries or anything more about how do we go about studying abroad, or how do we adjust in a new country, and specifically Canada, or anything about my current role, or anything they want to talk about, they can definitely reach out to me.
Got it. Okay. And before I forget, if you guys are interested in jumping on the community hotline, feel free to reach out. Send me a DM at NinjaXFang. If you're in the US and you need someone to talk to, feel free to text home to 741-741. That is a national hotline up and running. Thank you guys. See you next time.